Take a seat.
Deputy Prime Minister Mr. Wong Kan Seng, Senior Minister Professor Ho Peng Ki, distinguished guests, CRA colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my great honor to welcome you to the inaugural CRA Workplan seminar. As mentioned in the opening video, this is a challenging time for the business development and landscape of Singapore. To use a modern term, the casino industry is an exceptionalism. The two casinos are due to open at the end of this year and early 2010. The Casino Control Act became fully operational on the 1st of July 2008, and we have just turned 1 year old as a stat board on the 2nd of April this year. Now, this work plan seminar allows us to take stock of what we have done over the past year, a review of what needs to be done, revisit our challenges and our industry practices, as well as determine whether we are on the right track in meeting our statutory duties and our public policies. Since my appointment as chairman of CRA, I've had a number of opportunities to learn more about the casino business and the industry. In September last year, I attended the International Association of Gaming Regulators Annual Conference in Rome. It was a useful experience. I listened to and had dialogues with various members of various international gaming commissions, industry players, policymakers, bankers, and gaming lawyers. They were from the US, from UK, from Western and Eastern Europe, Africa, the Caribbean, and Macau. I also had closer discussions with our counterparts in Nevada and New Jersey, the FBI Las Vegas office, and a new industry player in New Jersey. Separately, I also met up with the two management of the two Singapore IR operators and went on site to view the development of Marina Bay Sands. These have been my takeaways. As it is, Singapore is rapidly emerging as a land-based gaming jurisdiction that will be frequented by international patrons. As the regulator of the casinos, we need to be clear of the outcomes we intend to achieve with respect to our law and order and social and economic policies. With such clarity, we can then ensure that the implementation of the regulatory processes across the continuum of casino operations, from probity investigation to licensing, from compliance to enforcement, is consistent, well-structured, calibrated, strict, and yet fair. We have in fact already set the culture and the tone earlier in 2005 when we conducted strict probity checks on the bidders for the requests for proposals. And following that, we had to ensure that our regulatory governance model is right from the start, because our entire infrastructure will be developed on that. In this regard, the Casino Control Act that we have put together is comprehensive for our purposes. Unlike other gaming jurisdictions in which regulators are under economic or revenue units, our Act and the CRA is under the responsibility of the Ministry of Home Affairs. This is right for Singapore. The Act is based on the government protection model and some valid add-ons from the gambler protection model. In other words, the Act aims to protect the industry by ensuring that gaming in the casinos is conducted honestly and is free from crime. It also tries to protect Singaporeans from gambling beyond their means. The objectives and the policy goals of the Act have been clearly enunciated by DPM and Minister for Home Affairs in the second reading speech of the Casino Control Bill. This is something that we should not take for granted, as there are jurisdictions that have been changing their governance modalities, and this had caused difficulties to the industry in the respective jurisdictions. We have learned from this, and we seek to avoid these problems. To carry out our regulatory duties effectively, inter-agency collaboration with our social services, police, as well as other law enforcement agencies is a sine qua non. This cooperation also provides institutional checks and balances to our various competing interests. This lack of collaboration is found in some jurisdictions, resulting in various problems such as vice, corruption, high gambling addiction, and poor law and order. Sustaining and institutionalizing our multidisciplinary approach is important against an industry where the nature of the business is long-term. In addition, sharing of information with other developed gaming jurisdictions is essential. It is also necessary for us to benchmark ourselves against well-experienced and internationally recognized gaming jurisdictions and against stringent international requirements set by international bodies such as the FATF, Financial Action Task Force, to ensure that our legislation and regulatory practices are up to mark. Now, as the regulator of a new industry, we also need to jumpstart our domain knowledge in the economics of casino operations and gaming. These include the regulation and control of casinos, the mathematics of casino game rules, the different casino organizational structures and casino management, such as casino marketing, casino cage operations, casino revenue, and reporting of cash transactions, and the like. Besides understanding the business from a regulator's perspective, we also need to keep ourselves abreast on the latest developments and research in the industry, such as research on gaming behavior, utility analysis of gaming motivation, social intelligence, and the use of the latest technology used in gaming. Fortunately, over the last 3 years, we have been building up a core of officers who have learned the business well and are able to impart their knowledge to the new officers to hasten the steep learning process. A comprehensive and intensive training preparation plan has also been specifically developed to train and prepare our officers for the next 6 months before the opening of the 2 casinos. Now, many a time, we have looked beyond Singapore to other experienced regulators to develop our own mastery. Our officers have been sent on study visits, training attachments to our more experienced counterparts in top-tier jurisdictions where there are large-scale casinos, such as Nevada, New Jersey, Victoria, and New South Wales. The CRA board has also made it a point to visit some of these jurisdictions to gain a better understanding of the industry and of the business of regulating the casinos. I am quite encouraged to receive positive feedback from our fellow regulators that our officers have visited, complimenting our officers and their knowledge, their pick-up abilities, and their keen desire to learn. Now, this definitely stands us in good stead, even as we continue to put in our efforts to regulate the 2 casinos when they become operational. Now, despite the fact that the casinos in Singapore are not yet in operation and that we are a newly emerging jurisdiction, CECRA has been elected to the steering committee for the International Association of Gaming Regulators. Now, this is important to us, as it allows the CRA to tap onto a hinterland of knowledge and experience and affords us training opportunities and the opportunity to benchmark ourselves. I turn now to the legislation to regulate the casinos. Early this year, the CRA finalized the technical standards for electronic gaming machines, EGMs. EGMs deployed on our casinos must be fair, secure, reliable, and auditable. The standards which we have put out describe key technical requirements that serve to achieve this. In the casino industry, IT users and applications are a core nerve of the operations. Over the next few months, there will be many more such regulations and standards which we'll be publishing. Tremendous amount of work and effort has been put in before a single standard or regulation could be promulgated. Each standard or regulation is a culmination of our research, our learning, and understanding from our overseas counterparts, and consultation and feedback from the industry stakeholders. It also requires careful thought, sensible examination to ensure that the regulations, the policies, the practices are relevant and applicable to our own local context, and that they achieve our objectives. Nonetheless, we'll do this in good time before the opening of the 2 casinos in late 2009 and early 2010. The CRA began as a division in the Ministry of Home Affairs in June 2005, following the government's decision to build 2 IRs with casinos here. Since it became a state board on the 2nd of April 2008, my board members and I have focused our efforts on establishing sound corporate governance within the organization, building up its capacity, and finalizing the legal groundwork for regulating the various aspects of the casino. On building up the CRA's capacity, we have ramped up our recruitment efforts, and I'm delighted to share that we are currently over 70 strong. This is well past the halfway mark of the full staff strength we aim to achieve before the opening of the casinos. At our last recruitment drive, we received overwhelming responses from applicants who are keen to join us. There were more than 2,000 applications for over 40 positions that we advertised. Having said that, we are very stringent in our recruitment efforts, as we have to ensure that the right people with the right attitude and values join the CRA. This is because the industry is a challenging and a sensitive one. Our officers must possess high integrity and have the mental resilience not to fall prey to temptations. And that is why integrity is a core value that we prize. I've also observed in the various interactions with our CRA colleagues that regardless of their background, their age, and their experience, one of the primary reasons why they join us is that they are keen to be pioneers in the industry. Most of them want to play a part in shaping the policies and regulations that the 2 casinos will have to adhere to and to leave their legacy. This pioneering spirit has been exemplified in the innovation of the Casino Licensing Application System, or CLAS, referred to by KK in the video, where technology is used to minimize the hassle and the tedium of filling out the voluminous personal history declaration form to achieve efficiency for both the regulator and the operator. This is a pro-business initiative without compromising on security. Now, such technology, as you have heard, is the first of its kind to be used by a casino industry, and undoubtedly first in the Asia-Pacific region. Moving forward, we will continue to keep this pioneering spirit alive within the organization. And let me conclude. To our CRA colleagues, as we gear up and prepare for the opening of the 2 casinos, it is necessary to emphasize that we must not lose sight of the importance for all of us to remain rooted and closely aligned to the home team mission of maintaining safety and security in Singapore. For this afternoon's seminar, I urge you to share your views openly, raise questions that you may have during the panel discussion. And as the video had aptly portrayed, let us continue to keep up our momentum, like the theme of triathletes training for their maiden race, as we forge ahead in the coming months with our preparations and for the opening of the 2 casinos. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. It is now my privilege.
Take a seat.